I'm sharing with you some of the handwork projects my children have done over the years. Let's start with some of the really basic ones that you might do with a grade 1 student. This is a ball, and it's just made by knitting rows and rows of different colored yarn. You could just stick with one color if you wanted to, as this example shows, but all it is basically a long rectangle or a square, and from a rectangle and a square you can do so many things. So let me show you a few of the things that you can do. This rainbow ball is really popular, and it's a great first project because it goes by pretty quickly, and at the end you have something that's really fun to play with, and it's really satisfying for a child to be able to complete this. With the same shape, you can turn it into anything. This is a pumpkin, so we had a few pumpkins one year. And again, really simple knitting. If you want to do something that looks even more complicated, but again, still with the same shape, you can make a doll. And I think that the head it's not knitted, but it is like a jersey material filled with wool. And again, the little bonnet and the body of the baby are still just square or rectangle. This was my example. A lot of the work you're going to see are examples that I've done, but this is the one that my daughter made. You will see some felted projects, but in general, needle felting isn't something you're going to find in the Waldorf curriculum, but a lot of people do include it. And so my daughter made this when she was quite young, but the majority of the felted projects you will see as part of the curriculum are the wet felting projects. And so this is a wet felted ball that then you can, in the following year, or maybe even in the same year, you can do some stitching. So this is my example, and this is stitching that was done over a felted ball. Weaving is also really popular in the younger grades, like 3rd grade. And so this is a weaving project that my child did. This actually took a long time because it's quite a large bag, and we did it for one of our history units, but you could do some weaving that's smaller and a little bit easier to get through. You could also do the same kind of this is just a little baggie or a little pouch, and you can do it knitted or you can do it by weaving it. Hand stitching also comes up as well in about grade 5 or 6, and this was based on a kit. These kits that we picked up from A Child's Dream, and these are hand stitching projects that come with the pattern as well as all of the materials and the needles and everything you need. So if you're new to hand stitching, then I recommend this. It is called Thread Follower, and you can find it at her website or at A Child's Dream. And this is convenient if you've never embarked on a hand stitching project. And these little dinosaurs are also from that same kit, but I can also show you ones that you can do on your own. So my son made these when he was maybe 9, and you can see that once he learned how to make them, he practiced, and he made, I think, 6 in total or 5 in total, and gave one to every member of the family, and then this was my example. So you can see that a child can do a really great job, and it's nice if an adult is also working alongside. At least I really enjoyed working alongside my children. In 4th grade, you'll see a lot of cross stitch. This is not a project that we did, but I did want to show you what you could do with your cross stitch work once it's complete. This is a little zipper bag, and the cross stitch material looks like this. And on the bottom are some of my practices. Then when you move into actually grade 4, let me go back to actually grade 2, or maybe grade 1. This is a ball that's not woven or knitted. This is like a pom-pom ball, and this is a really great project to do when the kids are young, and it's great for fine motor skills, and it does take a while though. You need to be a little bit patient. Here's a larger one. Okay, Let's look at another stitching project. This is a stitched ball, and I can't remember the grade level. I want to say maybe 4th or 5th grade is when you start with hand stitching, maybe 5th grade. And then what's nice about making balls, for at least for my kids and our family, is that we then use these for our mental math and our movement math, and we would toss these balls back and forth. Or right now my kids like to play other games with their balls, like volleyball or other things that they can toss around. So doing a ball is really great, because then you can use it in some of your other movement math or other projects, or kids just really love them. So then we have other things that you can make just with a rectangle when you are knitting. This is an octopus that I made. We made some twizzles on the bottom, and then we just stitched some eyes, and that was a lot of fun to do and really simple. And again, it's made just with a square or a rectangle. Other hand stitch projects that you can do. This was really easy. We made our own pattern for our sea star, and then we used 2 different color wools, and then we stitched it. I think this was a blanket stitch that we used. Here's another dinosaur that my son did. And then we also made our own pattern for a seahorse, and we made some of these for our main lesson block that we did on oceanography. So we included some of those handwork projects. Then in 5th grade, you may decide to knit in the round or with 4 knitting needles. And we practiced making hats one year, and we made lots and lots of hats. We just kept making them. Once we learned how to make them, we just made a bunch. And a lot of times we knit in the winter when we're doing a lot of our reading for our history units. And then to go along with those hats, we also made some scarves, and we made a single sock. So this was my example. I've been learning how to make a sock for 20 years and never really finished learning how to make one. Well, this was the one I made. And what's neat about this one, it looks enormous, and that's because when you're done making these, you are supposed to wet felt them on so that it molds onto your foot. So you put your foot in a bath with like a little foot bath with water, and then you wet felt this once it's done, and then it shrinks down to the appropriate size. So I was learning how to make this so that I could teach my children, and only got this far. Okay, so then if you do want to include some needle felting, which again is debatable whether you want to introduce it or not, it's your choice, but you're not typically going to find it in the curriculum. But these kits by Wool Pets are really great, because again, they come with everything that you need except for a mat. And these are some of the projects that we did. So this one was mine, and these are my children's. So you can see this is a great family project, and you can see that they did a great job. There's hardly any difference between my example and theirs. And the last thing that I want to show you, actually, once we started knitting hats, we knit lots of hats of all sizes, and they're for our peg dolls. And so we just have a whole box of little hats. Once we learned how to do them, we just really went crazy. And then the last thing is something that I made, and that is this doll here. And you can find 2 or 3 different places if you look in the description of places that I recommend. Waldorf Handwork teachers. Elizabeth is great. She taught me how to make the doll and the sock and probably other items that I'm forgetting. And so this is the doll that we made in one of the conferences. The clothing is not part of it. This is just clothing that my daughter had. But the doll making, there are a couple of different dolls that you will make in a Waldorf school. And there's the weighted doll that is in middle school. And I actually don't remember when this doll comes in, if this one's included or it's just the weighted doll. But if you want more information on the different handwork projects for the years and how they are incorporated into the curriculum, please check the description or the caption and you can get some more information. Hope that helps.